Happy Sunday. Nothing like a hot cup of tea. Morning everybody, happy Sunday. It is a chilly Sunday, isn't it? It's flipping frosty and freezing out, but isn't it gorgeous? When you wake up first thing in the morning, I don't know, are you early risers? We never actually had this discussion before. You should drop in the messages. Hey Lucy, drop in the messages here so I can see them. Are you like an early bird? Are you, oh no, definitely not an early bird. You know, like to be snuggled up till 11 or something. Morning, Mark. If you've got dogs or a young dog, let me tell you, you definitely won't be definitely won't be a lay-in sort of person. You'll be very much an early bird. But it looked utterly gorgeous this morning with the frost, heavy, deep, thick frost on all of the branches and all on the cobwebs and stuff. Super, super, super gorgeous. Hey Matthew. Hey Lucy. Got my hot Jez Rose. I wonder where that was going there. You could have left out tea. Everybody needs a little back rub every now and again. Good. I've got my hot Jez Rose tea as well, and I'm loving it. What I'm finding with this is it's such a good quality tea because of it's organic and it's not all the dusty, rubbishy stuff. Hey, Carol, that I find you can't brew it. Well, personally, you can't brew it for too long because it's such a heady, strong tea that actually I find if you normally, like with a tea bag, I leave it in, come back 10 minutes later because I've forgotten it and think, oh, and it's perfect. But actually, I find with my tea, it needs a sort of, good 2 minutes is for me, 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes and 23 seconds is normally good. Hey Kath, Matthew's up at 5:30 every day to take Barney for a walk. There's love for you, right? Let's just hope Barney is a dog or a house rabbit. I knew somebody once had a house rabbit. Massive, great big thing. It was bigger than my dog at the time. Well, it didn't do anything, just sort of lumbered and pooed everywhere now. Anyway, this is gorgeous. Oh, Lucy sounds like she has got the epic Sunday morning. If there was a formula for beautiful Sunday mornings, got up at 7:30, fed the cat, needs doing, made a cup of tea, and went back to bed and watched stuff on YouTube. And look at that, it's now 11, and you're still on YouTube because you ended up down the rabbit warren. Talking of rabbit warrens, let's just get this out of the way. I need to tell you about my epic journey in Manchester the other day. Oh my gosh. So, and by the way, flapjack recipes. So we can do a flapjack off. You need to send me them on Instagram via private message, or you can drop them in the chat here because I noticed that I get the comments after this show. So if you've got a family flapjack recipe, maybe it's your go-to. Could be somebody else's. I'll give them a shout out if Nigella needs a little nudge, or I don't know, Nigel Slater needs a shout out. Maybe Mary Berry needs a mention. See what I'm doing? See where I'm going there? Then let me know, and I'm going to bake them all 1 week. We'll do a big flapjack special. I'll blind taste them, and we'll have a flapjack off, and whoever wins gets the prize. But we're going to move on very quickly. So I drive to Manchester to speak at a conference. And I leave the conference at 4:30. I was supposed to be meeting somebody for dinner, but that didn't happen. So I left at 4:30 in Manchester. Manchester is, at worst, a 3-hour journey back home, which is fine. You sort of pootle along in the car and, nice and stress-free. But I ran into an accident. Came off the motorway and there was just stationary traffic. Well, doesn't matter, whatever. But then 35 minutes later, there was still stationary traffic. People were turning off their engines. It was freezing outside. Of course, it was getting cold. And so it turned off the engine. I thought, I know, I'll catch up on some email. So I'm on a motorway slip road. Absolutely chocker. No one's moving anywhere. There's people getting out, sort of looking what's happening after 35 minutes. So I'm doing a little bit of email, and then I catch up on a couple of people, things I needed to do. And then I think I really need a wee. Where am I going to go for a wee? Because there isn't anywhere. There's a bush there, I suppose, but it's that jeopardy thing, isn't it? What happens if the traffic starts moving and you're mid-wee, and there's things you need to finish and put away and get back to the car, another beep, look, he's going for a wee, so I thought, oh no, I'll hold it, it'll be all right. Anyway, dear viewer, I was in that traffic jam stationary for 1 hour and 20 minutes. We did not move. And I didn't have any water because I had snacks, because I always keep snacks in my work bag, but I didn't have any water left because I thought, I'll stop off on the way home, but nowhere to stop. So anyway, we get going. I'm frantically Googling, thinking, what on earth is going on and you know, am I going to be able to get away from this? And then I realise that there's more traffic ahead. It's slowing down a little bit, and I think, oh crikey, what's this all about? So I go off on a diversion because of the motorway shut. And judging by the vehicles that have gone back with obviously my background, I'm thinking, oh, that looks like probably not a good accident. Generally what happens is, particularly on major motorways, this was the M18, they like to free up the motorway because, for obvious reasons, right? Particularly during rush hour on a Friday. So if the motorway isn't freed up, that normally means that unfortunately somebody lost their life, because it isn't an accident scene anymore, it's a crime scene. So yeah, not so great. So anyway, then I'm driving, I think, oh gosh, finally, great. Still another, you know, 2 and a bit hours away, but we're all good. And then there's another road closed. On the M1, there'd been another serious accident, closed the motorway, off onto a diversion. I'm like, you are kidding me. Every time it told me I was an hour and 50 minutes away, I'd go off on a journey for like 25 minutes and then be another hour and 50 minutes away. So this is going on and on and on and on and on. I'm thinking, I really do need a wee. And I'm looking to my left, and to my left, I've got an empty flask that did have water in it, but there's no water in it now. And I'm thinking, oh. So anyway, driving. I find a little diversion down some country lanes. Finally I'm free. I think I roughly know where I am. If I do a left here, I think I'll get sort of that general direction. I'm at the bottom of the road. There were blue lights and a police car had shut the road because there'd been another accident. So the main road home was shut, the alternative road was shut, the diversion road was shut. I'm like, I really need a wee. There's loads of cars around. So then we're stationary again, and I think there's only one thing for it. Now, I want to know, I think we all know each other well enough now. If you were in the same situation, if there is a receptacle in your car that is watertight and can be cleaned, and you're desperate for a wee, by a show of hands, are we using the flask or are we not? Because I may or may not have had to urinate in a flask. So are we, before I reveal whether this did or did not happen, are we thinking that this is, I don't know what's going on today, but really bizarrely is your emojis aren't coming up as emojis, they're coming up as the words. So I've got like face blue wide eyes, face orange biting nails, face turquoise covering eyes. So by a show of hands, before I tell you what the end of the story is, are we flask weers in an emergency, or are we not? Mark's saying yes. Okay, we've got a hands up from Mark, right. Not while driving, Lucy, no. Oh God, oh my God, can you imagine? Don't imagine. It's Sunday, it's too early. That's not what we need to imagine, but can you? Matthew's an absolutely. All right, Carol, use the flask. Lucy says, I'm a girl, I'll find a hedge. Well, that's fine, but there's 300 cars behind you, all watching you, Lucy. So, but maybe that's your bag. I don't know. That's not for now either. But so yes, I did. I did use the flask, come home, have to throw it out, watered the plants, right? And, you know, that's what happened. But can we just, it's between you and I only, all right? So let's not share that anywhere, okay? All right? Okay. So anyway, it took me 5.5 hours to get home from Manchester. I was absolutely exhausted. Yeah. Now, today though, from one journey to another, Woody and I and Mr. Adorable are off in a camper van. We have a California Ocean from Volkswagen here for the weekend. We are driving over to the Brecon Beacons in Wales today. So a big long road trip. It's about 4 and a bit hours from here, so we're stopping with Woody. It's probably a good 6 hours in the van. So if anybody has got any suggestions, oh wait, just going back a second. Matthew says, just between friends, he's used a Costa cup and their lids do not fit well at the best of times. No, they don't, Matthew, you're absolutely right. They also have a hole in, Matthew, as well at the top. So, yeah. And then of course, in the cold, you know, when you turn the heating up because it's really cold and you get that sort of slightly musty, warm, pissy smell, you know, that fills the Michelle says, it's all right for you guys. You can whip it out, and put it back. Us girls can't do that. I feel like we're addressing the technicalities of this a little too much. But it did make me think maybe I should buy a portable thing, because there's a she-wee, right? Like a funnel that goes into or something. And I thought maybe if you get caught short, because what do? Like, you know, we're being a bit flippant about it, but you're stuck in a traffic jam. Okay, it doesn't happen all the time, but the more you travel, the more it happens. What do you do with that? You know, how do you do it? What do you do when you get caught short? How are you gonna, you know, go if you need to go? Because technically, urinating at the side of the road, I think, is an offence. I'm fairly certain. I'd have to do. Any police officers here that know about weeing in public, let me know. Matthew's not proud of it. I don't think any of us are proud of it, Matthew. And I'm not talking about mine. I'm talking about you. I don't think any of us are proud. You've let yourself down, and the rest of us as well. But you know, but like you say, if you've got to go, you've got to go. So anyway, we're off on this big California adventure. I'm really excited. We're filming Jez and Woody's big California adventure. So if you're on Instagram, you'll see lots of updates today about us on our adventure. And Woody has his own Instagram page, which we've been slowly building. There's not been an awful lot going on there, though you can see lots of his first time adventures and activities and lots of sort of stuff going on around the home, lots of very cute puppy pictures. But now we're going out on proper adventures. This is our first proper adventure with Woody. You can go over and follow him if you want. So if you're on Instagram, go find Woke Up with Woody. And you can, you can follow us there. There'll be lots of his journeys there. Mark Fisher says this is turning into a sea booby style. It's not, I promise it's not. I've been writing those, and let me tell you, they will be late. There is an option when you publish a video on YouTube that says, is this suitable for kids? Very firmly no. Absolutely not at all. And probably a warning at the very beginning as well. Matthew says on Amazon, it's a long tube, concertinas, so it can be kept in the glove box. Oh, well. No, Carol, the camper van does not have a loo, and that is an issue because we're actually going to a waterfall. We're going to go and film at a beautiful waterfall in the Brecon Beacons. Yeah. Oh, wait, Kath knows all about the inside of prison vans. I sort of feel like we need to diverge here, and Kath, I should bring you in. The technology I was telling you about where I can have people like guest appearances, I sort of feel you should be a part of this. Kath says, on prison vans, they give prisoners a bag thing filled with crystals that absorbs all the liquid. We used to have them in the ambulance service for vomit and stuff. Just throw it on any liquid and it all sort of absorbs it and you just scoop it up, like litter. Anyway, so... yeah, so we're off in the camper van. We're going to cook in the camper van. We're going to go forage. We're going to go to the waterfall. That is going to be super, super fun. I'm very much looking forward to that. What are you up to this weekend? And oh, it's Sunday, isn't it? Oh yeah, I keep thinking it's a weekend adventure, but of course it's not, is it? It's Monday, Tuesday. We're just going today. So I don't know where we're going, Michelle, but and Lucy, I have no idea. But that way, I'm going to put it in sat nav, and we'll end up there. Who has a map anymore? I don't think people. I mean. You know, what do you do? In fact, that is a very good point. What do you do if your sat-nav goes down or something, or you're not? I don't know. I don't have a backup plan for that, so we'll find out. But if you're on Instagram, I'm that Jez Rose. Woody is Woke Up with Woody, and you can keep track of us and see what we're up to. It's going to be really good fun, I think. Anyway, that is that. What was I going to talk about? Oh gosh, yes. Now. Did we make Madeira cake? I don't think we did, but I'm going to... oh, yeah, no, I think I did a long time ago, didn't I? I just found some lemons that were going a bit off in the fridge, and I thought, oh, you know what? I definitely should I should make some more Madeira cake. I like a Madeira cake. Kath used to work for a security company. Yeah, I think that was a very, very smooth way out of that, Kath. Our Kath. Sunday Elevenses Kath. She's seen the inside of a fair few prison vans. Everyone's got a story, Kath, haven't they? But I'm going to do that. I think I'll go on Amazon and find some absorbing stuff. By the way, if you've got any top tips or things that you'd like to see, and those are two very things, they're different things, I appreciate that. But if there's anything you'd like to see while we're on our travels with Woody, just give me a nudge. And if I can fit it in over the next couple of days, I'll give you a mention and a shout out and we'll do it. We're going to go to a waterfall, get some fresh water, make a cup of tea with my tea, which will be super lovely, using fresh, water from the waterfall. and obviously see beautiful scenery, because it is absolutely stunning here in England at the minute with this like frosty, cold, wintry, springy, bizarre season that we're in. You know, one day, like the other day, all the birds were singing, the sun was out, there was a slight warmth to it, you can just sort of see bulbs popping through the ground, and I thought, oh, this is amazing, it's spring. Next day, it's -3, hard frost everywhere. I dug some roses in yesterday, there doesn't really seem to ever be a you know, any sort of stability in what the hell was going on. But anyway, so listen, I've got a little story to tell you. Oh, Carol. Charles Dowding, the no-dig guy. I know him. He's got a compost loot. I saw it on Instagram the other day. A bucket with straw, but for pee only. Well, there's a poop one as well. He also has a poop one. Because you normally have the pee one is straw, and then a poop one is a hole. Because I've stayed at quite a fair few natural campsite places or places that have got natural composting loos, and they're a great idea. There is unfortunately a slight, it's not epic. I've been in public spaces that have stinky loos, worse than a natural composting toilet, but there is a slight sort of aroma. Anyway, yeah, do you know what, Michelle? I should have Woody on the lives, but having a 7-month-old puppy on a live is, I'm sure, very interesting for you, but I mean, there's a containment issue with it. You know, you need to kind of keep him somewhere. He needs to be somewhere. Otherwise, he's biting a cable. He's got the attention span of like a gnat. And it's there's something. Oh, a squirrel. Oh, a cable. Oh, what's that? Oh, what if I eat that? Oh, what do I do if I do that? Oh, give me a cuddle. Actually, I don't want a cuddle. I want to bite you. Actually, no, I want to get down. It's like that the whole time. So, I'm still talking about Woody. Yeah. Anyway, so I have to tell you a little something. I'm going to tell you a little family story. Right? This is funny. I want to know your experience of this. So, Mark, those are good emojis. Suddenly the emojis are working again now. Like earlier on, the emojis weren't working. Let me scroll back in the comments and see if they're working now. No, they're not. Isn't that weird? But they're working fine now. Strange. So I've just inherited a piano. My grandma died many years ago now, and she loved playing the piano. It's this really lovely piano. It's a bit sort of beaten up and cracked and stuff, but it's her piano, and it's very badly out of tune. And actually, I think probably needs restringing. So you know, all in all, not in great nick. But I thought, you know, wouldn't it be really lovely if that stayed in the family? And somebody got to carry on playing it in her memory. So, but you know, my grandma's got lots of children, and there are lots of children's children. So I've got lots of cousins. So I just casually said, you know, I would be really interested whenever something happens to grandma's piano. I'd be kind of interested in that. If you know, just keep me in mind. And my mum had mentioned it before, and I think I'd mentioned it to my granddad as well. So anyway, what happens is recently I get a little note saying, the piano is going to be got rid of. Granddad's looking to sell it, and I said, oh, okay, that's fine. I said, selling it's sort of a bit of an odd thing to do, because nobody wants a piano. Like, trying to get rid of pianos is very difficult. Most people give them away, because who wants a piano anymore, right? Because if you move house, it's a massive thing that has to be specially moved. They have to be tuned every 6 to 12 months. They're big. So, you know, but okay. So I'm thinking, you know, it's going to be 50 quid, 100 quid, whatever. But at the same time, there's a bit of the back in my mind thinking, I don't know, just kind of the idea of selling something that should be inherited is sort of a bit odd. I don't like the idea of it being sold outside of the family. I dislike even more the idea of it being sold in a family. Like, that for me just doesn't sit morally comfortably or right. So the message comes back that Grandad would like £700 for the piano. And here's the theory. 20, 30, possibly more years ago, when the piano was bought, Grandad and Grandma went halves, £700 each. And so his justification was, you get Grandma's half for free. I would like £700 for it. So I sat on that for a little while. I was very uncomfortable with the idea that clearly what that says is I don't have a relationship with my granddad. Certainly not one of worth or value, because here's a man that wants to sell me half of a so that he can reclaim the amount he paid 30 years ago. So I sat on it for a bit and thought, gosh, that's a heck of a lot of money for a piano that needs quite a bit of work. It's a lovely piano. It's a very good brand. It's not a Steinway or a Bussendorf or anything like that, but they are, it's a fairly good brand. But it is not in tune. It's not properly strung. And it's got cracks and stuff. It's been used. But it's my grandma's piano. So I thought, this is insane. Like, you're willing to put it outside of the family and just get rid of it, but charging me to keep it in the family the same amount. And of course, it's not about the money. I'd said to one of my friends recently, if somebody had said they want £3,000 for grandma's piano, I would have still considered it. I would have still probably tried to find a way, because it's her piano, it's a piece of her. So anyway, the piano is here, and I paid just over £1,000, because it cost me £360 something to get it moved, and £700 for the miserly exchange in order to get the piano. So my grandma's piano is here. I intend on one Sunday Elevenses to have a little knees up and a sing-song to celebrate my grandma's life and the celebration of the piano being here. So we can all join in. I can put the lyrics up on the screen. We can all do things like knees up Mother Brown and all that kind of jazz. Mark's got a cool story about pianos. There's a piano and they had a minor bird that used to drop those big pennies to play the keys. That is super cute. Minor birds. I'll tell you what, if I wasn't so anti-birds in cages and stuff, because I love birds, but the idea of putting them in a cage and them pooing. I had a friend of mine who's very well known now. He used to have parrots in his flat, and there were pieces of newspaper underneath all of the doors, because they would perch on the top of the doors and just poo. And he'd always have a tea towel, a slightly soiled tea towel, on his shoulder, because they'd fly and perch, and so it just collected the poo on him, which I thought was, each into their own. Matthew says he had a choice of 2 from a school that was being bulldozed. Bulldozed a school, wow. Didn't have the means to move either of them, so they both ended up buried under the rubble. It's insane, isn't it? And this happens all the time, because it's really difficult to move a piano, and if you don't play it, I do, Lucy, yeah, I can play it. Although, interestingly enough, I was so hell-bent on holding out in the hope that I might inherit grandma's piano that I haven't bought one. I've been offered 3. I've seen 2 digital versions that were amazingly good value in the sale. I mean, like £10,000 professional digital piano keyboards for a few £100s. I'm quite well connected with people that move stuff around and stuff. So that sounds dodgy, that, doesn't it? I don't mean it like that. I mean, as in, like, they like literally move stuff. They're logistics experts, or they know when the sort of end of sale stuff going on. I feel like I sort of need to clarify that. But I said, no, do you know what? I'm going to hold out, because I just really, it would be so much more special to me. So to say I'm rusty is an understatement, but in a couple, I'm leaving it, because generally when you move pianos, you let them settle. So I'm going to leave it, let it settle a little bit, and then get it. There's a tuner booked to come and tune it, who probably is going to tell me it needs to be restrung. That's super expensive. But anyway, there you go. It is very, very sad. Yes, Michelle, I think my grandma would be furious at the piano being sold as well. But what it has taught me is that there are people that have lesser values than me, and that you can love your family, but you don't have to like them. So that is, it's okay. And I might do a Sunday Elevenses actually one day about our relationship with families, because I think there's an awful lot of pressure put on us to carry out, I guess, typical relationships with family members, but actually they're only your family by engineering, by design, in some cases by accident. You don't have to like them, you don't have to spend time with them, and you don't have to agree with them. And I think the more effort we put into our relationships as family, rather than having them as de facto relationships, you should, doesn't matter what I do, but I'm your mother, doesn't matter what I do, but I'm your brother, that's irrelevant. That wouldn't wash anywhere else in the world with any other type of relationship. and certainly is the cause very often as to why people break up with each other, right? You know, you're dating someone, they get a bit, you know, the behavior doesn't sit very well with you, so you move on. And I think the more effort we put into those sorts of relationships, or the more effort we put into relationships with family, the easier everything would be. People would have an awful lot better, stronger relationships with their family, and I think that's a cause for often an awful lot of people falling out with each other, right? It makes Christmases hellish as well. So anyway, I will treat you very soon to a view, and you can look at it. It's a very beautiful piano. It's quite unusual. It's I would argue definitely not worth right now £700, but there you go. Oh, Mark says his other half is currently playing a keyboard in the background as we speak. Did you say keyboard or piano? Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing, I think. He's just doing chord progressions at the moment. He's signed up for lessons. Oh, how cool. Do you know what you should do? Here's my top tip. If you want to play an instrument, find a piece of music that you want, that you love, that you want to play. It will drive you forward. Because when I learnt piano, when I first started learning piano, when I was 10 or something like that, it's the usual, you know, you will learn this, here's the sort of progression and chords and blah, 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 and scales, and actually they're boring. What's really empowering is if you say, I want to learn how to play this, like, this is my favorite piece of music, you will find the energy and the time in order to put into it. So that's my top tip. Find a piece of music you really want to do, because there are lots of arrangements of pieces of music. Like, you'll probably find the actual arrangement of the piece that you love, and it might be very complicated, but somebody absolutely will have stripped that down. And if you can then find, like, for example, there might be a grade 8 super complicated version, there might be a grade 5 stripped down version, and then a grade 2, and so you can build up gradually. So you're playing, you're recognizing the tune of something you like, but it's simplified. Then you add more to it and add more to it, and by the time you're you know, a bit more proficient, you'll be playing something that sounds just like the thing that you love. Michelle says she's the black sheep of the family because she's too honest. Well, yeah, I guess that maybe is, that's not a bad thing, is it, to be the black sheep of the family, I suppose. And I don't think it makes you the black sheep. Doesn't that technically make you the white sheep, if you're too honest? I don't know. So anyway, there we go. So for next week, I want 2 things from you, because there's so much. Hang on, let me just double check that I'm still here next week. What is the, let me double check. Hang on, wait. Let me check my phone, my diary, because I'm on the move a little bit at the minute. Oh, 29th, I am, great. And then according to my diary, there's a little reminder I'm going to install some vents in the soffits. So Sunday the 29th is all kicking off here. Why don't you let me know what songs you would like to sing? In fact, no, do you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to choose. We're going to have a Music Hall 11s special. And I will put the lyrics up early, and we can all join in, and we can sing Knees Up Mother Brown, and what's the one that I used to play? Oh, Roll Out the Barrel and My Old Man. Oh, that'll be super cool. We can do that. Oh, dear. Oh, my word. Mark's update on piano. He's been playing for a year, but he's never had lessons, so he's getting some tips for his technique. I think he can play grade 6 or 7. Fancy pants. Well, we could do dueling pianos. Why am I doing it? He should do it. Let's get him in, and he can play all of the things. Oh, look, Michelle's literally just said that. That's what we could do. Absolutely. What I was going to say is that I can play the left hand and Mark's partner can play the right hand, but I just know, you filthy animals, you'll take that the wrong way. So listen, you all have a wonderful week this week, and whatever you're up to today, I hope it's wholesome and nourishing, and I hope it puts a little bit of a smile on your face. So maybe think about that. If you haven't got anything planned, think what would feel wholesome, nourishing, and put a smile on my face. And I tend to always leave you with a little sort of, you know, mention of the episode. And I think this is my takeaway message today. My takeaway message is, if you have relationships in your life that feel irreparable, it's okay. But you should definitely explore inwardly to understand whether you're a part of that irreparability, because all relationships are binary. They take an ebb and a flow and a forwards and a backwards. So you have to think about, you know, if you're angry with somebody else or disappointed with somebody else, you also have to think about your input in that. However, here's the little cornerstone on the nub. This is my takeaway message. All great relationships are about communication. Everybody's got a version of their story, and you will only know the correct version, if you communicate. So it's entirely up to you whether you sever people, block them out and say, do you know what, I'm moving on without them. That's absolutely fine. That's a decision you can make. But you shouldn't feel guilty about it if you've explored everything and given other people the opportunity to communicate and make sure that it makes sense. And if it doesn't for you, then that's okay for you to move on. Listen, have a wonderful time. Definitely, Lucy, enjoy your sanding. Definitely join me in the van, because I'm going to go find some nature of the purest sense in the form of a waterfall in Wales with Woody as well. Whatever you're up to, have a wonderful week, and I will see you next week, gang. Love you lots. Take care. Bye-bye. Hey, happy Sunday. Nothing like a hot cup of tea